1990s was a time when strategy RPGs dominated the console landscape. However, real-time strategy games that were super popular on the PC at the time, like Total Annihilation, Warcraft 2, and Command & Conquer, were almost nowhere to be found in the console universe. One exception to this was Hanjuku Hero, A Sekaiyu Hanjuku Nare, or Hanjuku Hero Let the World Become Soft-Boiled. It was a Squaresoft game released on the Super Famicom in Japan in 1992. Hanjuku Hero Let the World Become Soft-Boiled was actually the second game in the Hanjuku Hero series, a franchise that now has 5 games. It came out on December 19, 1992, which was only 2 weeks after Final Fantasy V was released. And this fact is honestly pretty telling because it was totally overshadowed by Squaresoft's flagship title. The most unfortunate thing about this game, at least according to this gaijin, is that it lacks a full English translation. All the translated versions, such as the one in the footage playing now, is part of an incomplete package that localizes only the bare minimum text and leaves everything else untranslated. I'll leave a link to the one I'm using in the description below, but as I said, it's pretty rough and it doesn't exactly help that much. The basic premise of Hanjuku Hero Let the World Become Soft-Boiled involves controlling units on a map in real time. Your goal is to use your shogun, the top commander, to capture fortresses and complete objectives. The overworld gameplay actually functions a lot like the Ogre Battle games, but when you clash with units you transition into a turn-based encounter. And let's just say, they're pretty darn silly. I mean, look at this, it's insane. Your units and the opponent's units basically launch their bodies at each other over and over and bounce off each other like they're running into a balloon or something. After you complete enough objectives, there are also boss encounters where you do get to provide individual menu commands, and these are the most intense. There are also cards you can use in this game to give you an advantage in battle, so you may think this title ripped off Ogre Battle. But actually, this came out 4 months before Ogre Battle. You can carry up to 3 cards at a time, and you can obtain them in castles, along with soldiers for the army. In addition, you can also acquire eggs that hatch into powerful summon monsters that allow you to defeat the bosses, and this is pretty cool too. I also like the fact that there is a timing system, so the seasons change over time and you're able to upgrade your castles and hire new generals at the end of each month. Santa even appears and gives you presents on Christmas, and you get bonus money on New Year's Day. I like these touches, and the fact that you can make adjustments every so often made it feel pretty involved. It kinda reminded me of SimCity. Probably the most interesting thing about this game is that the soundtrack was composed by legendary Dragon Quest composer Koichi Sugiyama, and I think it was the only Squaresoft game he ever created music for. His style is immediately recognizable too, and it's a big bright spot. So anyway, Hanjuku Hero Let the World Become Soft-Boiled is a really silly game on the surface, and the English translation is rough and unfinished. In fact, even if you play with the incomplete translation patch, you probably won't understand what the heck's going on most of the time. But if you can get over those 2 things, there's some truly fun gameplay to be had, and you won't find much like it on the console outside of Ogre Battle. Let's just hope this one makes Square Enix's list of games to remaster and bring to us in English form in the future. But for now, there's plenty of other SNES RPGs that do have translation patches that you should definitely prioritize over this one. So what do you think about Hanjuku Hero Let the World Become Soft-Boiled? Have you ever played it, or does it look interesting to you? Let me know in a comment below. Please like, subscribe, and click that bell below for more retro gaming content. I also want to give a huge shout out to my Patreon patrons and YouTube members. And if you want early access to the videos I produce and other perks like they receive, please consider supporting the channel by becoming a Patreon patron or via the YouTube Join feature.